Many NES games are infamous for their difficulty, giving way to labeling some games as NES Hard or Nintendo Hard. NES Hard games commonly have limited lives and limited continues, and sometimes also did not have saves or even a password system. Many players get so frustrated at all their lost progress, they stop playing the game and may never return to complete it. So why was this practice of frustrating players through the threat of losing all their progress so prevalent in these older games? NES games came from the same era as arcade games and followed a similar design philosophy. Arcade games often were designed to keep gobbling up quarters, so the difficulty had to be extremely high. However, in most of these games, if you were skilled enough to beat it without dying, the game could be completed in less than 30 minutes. On top of this, NES cartridges would sell for around $60, so it'd be tough to justify spending $60 on a new cartridge only to get 30 minutes out of the game. Therefore, to extend the average playtime, the difficulty often was increased to these insane margins. The playtime also was artificially extended since these games came out when game rentals were still common. Gaming companies were quick to realize if they make a game beatable within a few hours over the course of a weekend, people would be far less likely to buy the game. All of these factors combined led to the games being so difficult. Alright, so some examples. Let's talk about Battletoads. What made this game so hard? The game starts out by giving you a couple standard beat-em-up stages. You're just there having fun, smacking the evil piggies around, and laughing at the cartoonishness of it all. So far, so good. This game isn't so tough. But then the third stage, Turbo Tunnel, changes all of that. Again, the stage starts out casually enough, just booting some evil rodents and kicking them off the screen. Then you hop on a bike and immediately are faced with insta-death obstacles. There's no secret to getting past this. You need to have fast reaction time and memorize the upcoming sections. Any error results in instant death. On your first playthrough, you will absolutely lose all of your limited lives and need to start the stage again, using up one of your few continues in the process. Many players cannot make it past this stage, even using up all their continues. Though it is a difficult stage, the real reason this is NES Hard, I would argue, is mostly due to finite attempts. With some persistence and infinite attempts, many players would feel proud as they finally complete this level. This is an example where NES Hard really is just bad design, harming the gameplay experience in the process. Players should be given a chance to learn patterns and demonstrate their skill in overcoming them, not constant insta-death obstacles with limited attempts and forcing them to start all the way over on failure. Another example of NES Hard is Ninja Gaiden 3. The main reason for this being NES Hard is a bad one. Finite lives and finite continues make for an overly frustrating experience for most players. That isn't the only reason though. Another major reason was not giving players the opportunity to learn from new challenges such as the boss fights. Whenever you die in a boss, like you will the first time around when you don't know the patterns and how to react to them, you would have to start over from the last stage's checkpoint. This is especially problematic with the final stage. The stage already is the most challenging in the game, and on top of that, the final boss has multiple phases you need to learn. Each time you die in the final boss, no matter what phase you are in, you are sent back to the last checkpoint in the stage full of obstacles to clear yet again. Unless, of course, it is your last life, then you continue all the way back at the start of the stage. And when you run out of continues, it's game over. You don't even get to start at the beginning of the final stage. No, no, no. Instead, you start all the way over at stage 1. Once again, this is an example where the most frustrating part of the game was it being difficult for all of the wrong reasons. As a kid, and not having experience with modern games that largely avoid making the games this punishing to your progress, I was more willing to tolerate and persist through these difficult games. As an adult, my time is split between many more responsibilities now. I still love playing these games, and my desire to not let the game beat me pushes me to change the game on my own for a better experience. How? Save states. If you have an NES Classic or an NES clone system, or you play on an emulator, you can save a snapshot of the game at any given instant. At the very least, you can use this to avoid running out of continues and losing all of your progress. Just save it on the continue screen. I also recommend saving at the start of a new boss fight. You often will need the repetitions to learn the boss patterns and how to handle it. After you feel more confident, then you just take a death and start back wherever the game sets you. This allows you to still preserve the authenticity of the game while avoiding the incredible frustration and loss of time from these NES Hard games. Were there some games you never completed due to losing all your progress? Are there some games you're working on beating now that there's infinitely more resources online and ways to prevent losing all your progress? Let me know what you think in the comments below.